How's it going, everybody? This is Novakast back with another video for you guys. And we'll be doing some gaming stuff or gaming news. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. One, when it comes to some of the topics that I discuss, I might be a little bit late to the party, but that's okay. Because in some sense, there's other content that I'd like to put out for the channel. And at this point, especially when it comes to either drama or reactions, I kind of put it out on my own time. Including, the stuff with the Let's Plays. So, and as much as I know certain people would probably want to hear my impressions or thoughts on the fact that the HBO Last of Us is going to be, spending millions, I think it was like 10 million to produce the series, which I'm not going to lie, after part 2, I was slightly unmotivated. Not as Angry Joe, but at the same time, I'm not motivated to, just jump on that. I do want to talk about something that is actually near and dear to my heart, especially when it comes to gaming. Now, let me ask, who remembers Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages, and Oracle of Seasons? Now, for those who don't remember this particular game, or this series of games, it's two games that are kind of separate from the main Zelda timeline. Actually, if anything, it's kind of like what happened with Link to the Past, where Link is teleported or sent to another land, where he has to go around and, stop an ultimate evil. And he does that twice, again, because it's two separate games with two separate characters that you have to try to help or save, as well as two villains that you have to stop. And one of the really cool things, especially with that game, was the fact that after you beat one of them, you'll get a code that basically transfers a lot of what you've done from the previous game onto the second game, and vice versa if you continued your progress. But anyway, so Oracle of Ages and Oracles of Seasons was a game that came out for the Game Boy, or like Game Boy Color. So it is really freaking old. And it is, honestly, besides Ocarina of Time and recently Breath of the Wild, it is one of my favorite Zelda titles. And I'm sure for a lot of other people, they feel the same way. Now, what if I told you that there was possibly talks of a remake for the Switch? Now, I'm looking at an article from Game Rant, where the title itself is called Zelda, Oracle of Ages and Seasons may get a Switch remake. And in the article it reads that a recent link contains a slew of rumors regarding potential Switch releases, particularly a remake of The Legend of Zelda's Oracle duology. And continuing further, in some of new Nintendo rumors have fans intrigued. A recent Twitter thread from Nintendo leaked Makomoro, I think that's how I pronounce it. Oh, I probably said it wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong. Contains mention of some exciting remakes and new releases from Nintendo, particularly the remake of Legend of Zelda Classics, Oracle of Ages, and Oracle of Seasons for the Switch. According to Makomura's claim, Nintendo does not plan on releasing any more Zelda games during the series' 35th anniversary this year, but more remakes of classic installments are following Skyward Sword. So, which kind of makes you wonder if we're going to be getting another, because recently, close to recently, because again, at some point this video will go up, Skyward Sword was released for the Switch. So there's a possibility that other classic games might be sent to the Switch as well, which honestly that would be really awesome, because I still have my Switch and I would love to play some of the other classic Zelda games. Like HD releases for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are reportedly complete and set to be released sooner than later. I'm continuing the article. And remakes of Oracle of Ages and Seasons are currently slated to follow sometime in 2022 or 2023. Unfortunately, Nakamura has no news regarding two of the more anticipated Zelda Switch releases, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, though there have been rumors from other sources. And just going further, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons were developed by the now defunct Capcom Studio flagship and released on the same day in 2001 for the Game Boy Color. There were plans initially for the series to be a trilogy called the Triforce series, but many changes took place during development, and one game ended up being canceled. The two games were met with commercial and critical success, with critics listing the pair among the best games released on the Game Boy Color. Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons could interact with each other through the use of passwords or link cable, allowing players who have both to expand the story of each game, with the true ending being inaccessible until both had been completed. The Twitter thread is not clear about whether this mechanic or the canceled third installment will be making a return, but it says that the games will most likely be releasing separately, unlike the originals. Unlike the originals. And they show the Twitter thread, which basically says, as I said before, even if N said no more Zelda for the anniversary, WW and TP are done for a while, so there will come sooner than later. Don't know anything about the OOT and MMHD, which I think that's Ocarina of Time, and I think when it comes to the initials, they're talking about Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, OOT, and Majora's Mask, MMHD. But something about the N64 version that maybe we will know later this year. As I stated a year ago, there is a remake for Oracles of Ages and Seasons in the works, 2022 and 2023. There were plans to include a third game that was planned originally for the Game Boy Color. What it's clear, at least since the start, it's that will be separate releases. Now with, or at least after the Twitter thread, it continues the article by saying that Nakamura does not have a perfect reputation as a Nintendo leaker, and their claims should not be taken as fact. However, some of the claims made in this thread have been echoed and given the love people have of the Oracle games, as well as the fact that they come after Link's Awakening, which was made for the Switch. It seems likely. And then continues, like, this last segment saying that Nakamura makes claims about several non-Zelda Nintendo games on their thread, including a new 2D Donkey Kong game sometime in the next year, Splatoon 3 earlier next summer, a fifth installment of Style Savvy, Bayonetta 3, which is a game I'm actually particularly interested in since we saw that teaser, Advanced Warfare 1 and 2, and a new WarioWare, which have been officially announced, and a remake of the original Paper Mario, and Wii Punch-Out. Nintendo, who is known for being stingy about revealing information on games that are yet to be released, has not yet responded to these rumors. Now, first, I think I should mention, like, right off the bat, and it's like, regardless all again, as they pointed out, all these are rumors. So, with everything, like with what this person is claiming, it may not even be, true that it's actually going to happen. And if anything, just kind of getting our hopes up. However, I will say this, and I wish that, a couple people actually see this video, because, again, Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, no joke. Probably two of the best titles, besides, a variety of the other gameplay, or Game Boy Zelda games, but which I think those were the only two on the top of my head. But regardless, those games, bar none, especially for the Game Boy Color, were excellent. Like, truly excellent. Especially when it comes at being a Zelda title. It was a lot of fun. And especially with, the gameplay, what you got to do, what was going on, some of the mechanics that we get to experience. I think, if anything, especially with, how you, for Oracle Seasons, you're changing the seasons to get through certain obstacles. Doing the same with Ages. In a sense, it is really cool, and the mechanic is somewhat similar to, I guess, it didn't, okay, because I think Link to the Past did something similar where you're going from Hyrule or Lorule. So, in the end, I think, honestly, this is just my opinion, these games deserve a Switch remake, because they are good. And they were praised when they were first released for the Game Boy. So, with that, what are your thoughts? Do you guys think that this will be something that actually happens? Do you think this would be a really great addition? Do you think that will inevitably get other Legend of Zelda games, like, the remake for Twilight Princess or Wind Waker, heck, if anything, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, which honestly, I think, especially with nowadays, re-releasing those games for that console would be really freaking awesome for the Switch, because of how universal it is nowadays. And it's basically, I think, if anything, made the Nintendo DS and other consoles, especially when it comes to Nintendo, kind of obsolete. So, what are your thoughts? Love to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys can, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Rob Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care. Peace. 3, 5.